We're gonna have to sit down for this one. We gotta see how many days are left. One, two, 3, 4. Man, less than 4 weeks left until I'm no longer DURTYMAX Jack. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. Oh yes, that is quite the comment that I've been seeing since we've launched Dream Diesel giveaway number 15. If you've been living under a rock that's that size, then I'll send an SOS out to you as quick as I possibly can, because you're probably in serious pain. All jokes aside, since we've launched Dream Diesel giveaway number 15, I have seen a flurry of comments all over Instagram, Enthusiast Apparel's Instagram, Enthusiast Apparel's Facebook, my Facebook, and the comment section below about how I'm no longer DURTYMAX Jack because I won't have a DURTYMAX. And in less than 4 weeks time, that is going to be the case, because it's going to be claimed by you if you get entered for a chance to take it home. On a serious note, if you want to get entered for that truck, 15 times entries are still live. They end at 11:59 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on January 10th. You still got a little bit of time. Mind you, this is the biggest multiplier the entire giveaway, full transparency. So yes, my beloved 2020 Denali is up for grabs. It is currently on the top of the pedestal, and one of you will be taking it home, which kind of leaves this awkward question of, are you no longer going to be DURTYMAX Jack? That's why we are here making the video that we're doing today, because I'm very outnumbered by a lot of other manufacturers that aren't DURTYMAX. Matter of fact, right now we got 2 Fords in the driveway there, and the F450, which by the way is rocking its new boots. They are not genuine ostrich, but they are genuine 6066 billet aluminum. And for that, I think this video deserves a big thumbs up, because it looks freaking fantastic. But then we've got 3 Mopars in the driveway too. We've got Wifey's Jeep, we've got good old 1100 horsepower 8-ball, and we've got oh so tender and delicious Delmonico right there. I do have one GM product, and that is the Corvette. So it's not like I'm totally bailing on General Motors as a whole, but I still don't qualify for my name DURTYMAX Jack. So is this the end of DURTYMAX Jack and the beginning of the Enthusiast YouTube channel? And the answer to that there, ladies and gentlemen, is absolutely not. No chance in hell am I changing my name to Enthusiast. Enthusiast is my company, is my brand, but I am DURTYMAX Jack. I have been DURTYMAX Jack for forever, since I started my YouTube channel, and it was kind of just the spawn of my at DURTYMAX DU4RSTYMAX on Instagram handle that I started sometime back in like 2014. And I kind of figured that now that my DURTYMAX is up for grabs, it'd be a perfect time to talk to you guys a little bit about what the name means in context to the vehicles that I own. It has a whole lot of meaning of nothing. I had a DURTYMAX at the time. I decided to go by the alias of DURTYMAX Jack because I like to maintain my privacy. And 4 years later, here we are. It's just that at this very point in time, I have always consistently had a DURTYMAX that has been kind of my personal vehicle, but now we're kind of at this point where it's like I actually don't. And that, my friends, is kind of interesting. I have never daily driven any other make or model diesel truck. It has always been my DURTYMAX, whether it was my 2015 or my 2020. I had both of them at the same time, so it was an equal swap from one to the next. And at this point, I've kind of been somewhat daily driving Delmonico and the F450 and not a DURTYMAX. Now, I've got some really exciting news about a truck that I'm on the lookout for that I'm going to be telling you guys later in the video. And for my Corvette enthusiasts, we're going to be doing some small aero mods to the Corvette today, as we're kind of having just a lax, casual, chill day here at the homestead. But what I'm saying is you definitely want to hang tight until later in the video, because I've got some exciting news that you're not going to want to miss out on. They're currently doing some logging over at my neighbor's house. Pretty cool boom truck out stacking logs. Those guys will probably be over here at some point once we get all of our permits approved for the shop that I'm looking to build, which is essentially going to go from about this posted tree to roughly the end of the gooseneck, maybe a little further. You see that scrap pile down there? That was actually one of the small little tin sheds. I got a little carried away with my SVL 90 and happened to crinkle it into a small little pile of rubbish. But yes, the shop will essentially go all the way down there. I have dimensions in mind, but I'm not going to mention any of those yet because I'm superstitious and I don't want to get too far ahead, because this planning process is panning out to be an interesting learning experience. For those of you that have gone through, you know what I'm talking about. For those of you that haven't, but plan to maybe build an accessory building on your property one day, yeah, you're gonna know what I'm talking about when you get to that point. All right, guys, but seriously, real quick, I don't ever talk about this because I feel like action speaks louder than words. I am DURTYMAX Jack, but I love all brand makes and models. I love cars, I love trucks, I love motorcycles, I love equipment. I'm an enthusiast of sorts, and the brand really does a way better job of defining my enjoyment that I get out of my passion for vehicles or anything motor specific more than DURTYMAX Jack. And I really never harp on this, ultimately, of privacy reasons. Myself and anybody else that has a YouTube channel puts themselves out there of sorts, and as much as I love to be fully transparent with you guys and keep you kind of up to date with my life, my vehicles, my builds, my family, there is a certain line that I like to draw just because it's a personal decision, a conscious choice. So that being said, DURTYMAX Jack kind of just stuck because I went by DURTYMAX on Instagram, and it was kind of just the easiest thing. So I just decided to go by DURTYMAX Jack. Excuse me, I'm getting a phone call. Hello?
Be reactivated to protect you against the cost of repairs. No affordable
Damn! I hate when my warranty goes out. Man, I always try to avoid that. I hate those calls, but they're kind of entertaining. It's not very entertaining when you get like 10 of them a day. But for those of you that have been with the YouTube channel for any amount of time, over like 2 weeks at this very point in time when this video is going live, you know that I am really not brand discriminatory. I am not 100% loyal to one vehicle, year, make, model, manufacturer, powertrain, whatever the case might be, because as an enthusiast, I choose to appreciate all of the characteristics that come with all of these different brands. And in my opinion, I have one life to live, and I really want to fully embrace everything that all the vehicles have to offer because that's what makes me an enthusiast. And although we throw the jokes around about how Ram is better than Ford, is better than GM, is better than all, it all comes down to personal preference. And really, when you get into a specific category of vehicle or brand, they really just have their strengths and weaknesses. Some of the companies just do things a lot better in a personal opinion perspective than others. But if you have a conversation with somebody that personally prefers another brand, well, that's their choice because they enjoy specific characteristics of that manufacturer. So I guess I've just kind of been thinking about this a lot lately because I've always driven Duramaxes every single day. It was my first vehicle. Now, I was born and raised in a predominantly GM household, but we always had other brands. My dad, Jack Jr., I'm Jack III, had a Durango and had a Dodge Magnum back when I was a younger kid, and then he switched to GM and he's kind of stuck there ever since, always station wagon based. I guess it's just his preference. We rebuilt a 48 Chevy pickup, restored it from the ground up, and we've had a 2007 Cummins since they were brand new. I was kind of raised to appreciate what every manufacturer had to offer, and the Duramax thing, it kind of just stuck because it was the first truck that I ever bought. But to answer your question after that super long-winded explanation of just kind of what fuels me and my vehicle passions, nah guys, I ain't changing my name. It's not going anywhere. I am DURTYMAX Jack, and I love all brands. Point proven. Well, actually, maybe I should just reiterate the fact that D-Max Rhino, who goes by D-Max Rhino, D-Max is the pronunciation of Duramax, has an OBS 7.3 Ford. Let me think of another one. Oh, my boy Ryan Mayer out there in Ohio. Ryan Mayer on YouTube, 6'7" Lime on Instagram. 6'7" Lime denoting the displacement of the 6'7" Cummins. Has a Chevy Tahoe, 5.3 red instead of 6'7" Lime. Ryan, what do you say? Instagram update? I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, guys, I've been laughing a lot over the last few days just seeing like this bombardment of comments about how I'm no longer DURTYMAX Jack. But guys, in very, very, very me typical news, I'm gonna get another Duramax. It's only a matter of time. I'm actually looking for one right now. I'm just kind of a little bit particular about what it is that I want to add because very personal preference. I just feel like I need to have a Duramax. And I'll always have a bunch of other brands and vehicles for obvious reasons, but we will be bringing another Duramax onto the channel. It's just that I need to find the right one. I've got a few feelers out right now. We'll see if anybody bites on them. If they do, we'll have another Duramax here sooner than later. It might take a little bit of time because I'm looking for something kind of specific, but to my Duramax loyalists, those of you that ride or die Duramax or GM, don't fret, all is good. We will have another one here shortly. I guess it couldn't be shortly if I can't find what I'm looking for, but we're not gonna let that happen. Okay, so we're gonna do some stuff around the homestead today. We are going to quickly fire up the SVL90 to get this thing warmed up a little bit. It is filthy because I had it out the other day when it was pouring. Oh, I made a mess of it. It's kind of driving me nuts, because although it's equipment, I like to keep it clean. Glow plug, cycling, fire. So we're gonna let Old Orange warm up here because I do kind of want to move a few things around, and as much as I don't want to make a mess of other things that I wanted to get done, there is some work up here. It's just kind of eating away at me, and I kind of want to begin to tackle. So what I did the other day is moved a massive pile of brush from basically right here in my front yard all the way out to the backyard, and I also somewhat sorted out some other types of debris. My lens is super wide on my camera, but there's like smaller stuff to the right, medium-sized stuff in the middle, and then big stumps and whatnot there on the left side. I'm essentially preparing what is going to be the canvas for the shop build, hopefully breaking ground sooner rather than later, as long as we can get the necessary approvals to do what I want to do on my property. It's kind of a pain in the butt, but it's all in works. And I essentially want to be 100% prepared to break ground on the proposed area. Notice all this terminology right now? Yeah, part of the process. But I essentially want to be prepared to break ground on the proposed area of the shop when that time comes. And as part of that, I wanted to kind of clear this upper area of the property. So what we're looking at here is a whole bunch of rocks that are a result of the excavation that I did in the front yard. We had about 250 tons of, I would call it good condition fill dirt / topsoil that we had spread all across the front yard, planted grass, and that grass is coming in very nicely. It will need another aeration session, more seed and fertilizer in the spring, but we'll be off into the races for our front yard. But as a result of that excavation, we've got all this ironstone, and like way more than I could ever want. I want to try and harvest some of it for natural landscaping purpose, and potentially to even help build a retaining wall that'll probably be somewhere in this area right here once the shop excavation begins, because there is some topographical grade that actually goes down in elevation. It's not by much, but we will have to cut into this piece of old Mother Earth herself, which the SVL 90 will become extremely handy for, in preparations to get a nice flat surface. I say that all with hopes that like the actual plan goes through, because I mean the driveway expansion, shop there, it all makes perfect sense. You guys can kind of see how it's all gonna somewhat come together. So what I want to do today is I want to take a majority of the rock that I can get the grapple bucket around out of here and actually moved over to basically the edge of my property. So it'll be kind of in there in that overgrowth. What's really cool is I have an awesome neighbor. So in total, with all of our acreage combined, we have this nice little kind of desolate paradise, and he is, as you can see, working on clearing out his land to eventually build a very nice house. So we're kind of going through this construction phase at the same time, which works out really, really well, because we're just basically making a freaking mess of everything that we own. Now, for any of my landscapers out there in the local, I'm gonna call it Lancaster County, Dauphin County area, if you have a burning desire to get a bunch of ironstone varying from small to very large to medium sizes, shoot me a message on Instagram and we can try and make that happen. We might have a very big excavator up here at some point in time, which will make loading this stuff out much, much simpler. I got a lot of rock to go around, and I definitely don't need all of it. I always feel so much better about myself after this thing gets some fresh grease. It's incredible what these machines can do, and it also boggles my mind that just grease in between all those pins and moving places makes these things last that much longer. Grease to a machine is like oil to a motor, man. Keep it fresh and it'll go a long, long time. So we're gonna start moving some rocks here, boys. And to those of you that want to see the Corvette mods later in the video, definitely stay tuned. I'm really excited about getting those installed. All right, guys, so here we are. Looks like I made a little bit of a mess, but it's a construction zone for now. You have to see the final product. It's gonna look really nice once it's all said and done. You might wonder why I just moved one pile to another pile, but the idea here was to try and separate my material. I've got really big rocks, medium-sized rocks, and small rocks. So I separated them all over there, and then I put all of the kind of fill stuff kind of somewhere there in the middle, so I have an idea as to how much material I have. I know that some of these rocks will actually come in handy when it comes to building the retaining wall, which is probably going to be right around right here. But not all of them. We're gonna see what we need and what we don't need. We're gonna end up burying on the back of my property. Still a little bit more work to do, but I've been itching to get these parts installed that have literally been sitting in the garage for the Z06. The winter is always kind of one of those seasons for the automotive enthusiast where it's like you really can't fully embrace everything that you love of your vehicles, because every time you bring them out, they get absolutely filthy. It is what it is. And at this point, now that Christmas is over, I'm ready for spring. Also, update, yep, we still got some holes in the driveway. Filled one in with a little rubber though. You're never gonna know. Cold start on the Z06 with the NPP valves closed because sleeping baby. Parents, I know you know, aspiring parents, never wake a sleeping baby. Perks of having a dual valve axle back on the Z06. Okay, well then. Babe, what did I tell you about closing the valves after you take the Corvette out? All right, we're checking the cameras. I hope he's not awake. He is literally passed out. That's my boy. Hopefully I don't have to dance with the devil again like that, because waking the baby up is definitely a no bueno situation. All right, guys, so we haven't done much content with the Z06 purely because we've had our hands tied with a lot of projects on the channel, and I really love the condition of my Corvette. There's not many things that I want to change, other than a few things, and one of them is what we're doing today. So the Z06 has great aero characteristics. It's got its front lip and carbon flash. It's got the small canards on the side of the aero to give it a little bit more of a presence and aggressive look. It's got the carbon flash side skirts and the carbon flash diffuser, but there are small things that you can do to really enhance the OEM aero, and that is with these right here. These little guys are winglets that go in place of the small canard that came on the car. So very simple mod that goes a long way in my opinion. You take this one off with these two Torx screws, and then you essentially install this one in place. And then what you do is you actually get a larger winglet canard on the side that really just complements the whole front end of these things fantastically. So it's time to get these beauties on. She's done, boys, and she looks so much better. Check it out. It's so sick to see the smallest modification that's relatively cheap transform the front end of this thing. Right here has to be my favorite view because now you can really see the depth of field that those little front canard splitters added with that front lip from the factory. Now those canards essentially are an OEM option on the Grand Sport, and really we're just adding them to the Z06. So those right there are the front canards off of the Grand Sport, and they literally bolted right up. It was that simple. Take two bolts out of the factory one that came on the car and then bolt them right in place, and you can see it made a tremendous improvement on the front end of this car. Plus from the side now it just looks so much more aggressive from that one minor little mod. I'm just fixating on it, guys. I absolutely love how sick that mod is. That is like my favorite category of modification, where it's relatively cheap, relatively easy to install, but makes a massive improvement. It's literally as simple as bolting into the factory wheel well location and then utilizing the two factory bolts that were on either side. And back into her hibernation she goes. Man, that is uncomfortable sometimes. This was a very successful day on the vlog. We got a lot of stuff done here around the homestead, did some modifications to the Corvette, and talked a little bit about the upcoming shop that hopefully will start sooner than later. I plan on keeping you guys updated every single step of the way since we've started only about a week ago, as I have some pretty ambitious timelines that I'd really like to abide by to get this thing going. The tentative goal right now is to get permits by February, maybe rolling into March, and then start excavation sometime right there around mid-March to the beginning of April to hopefully have a shop constructed that we can start getting our stuff into by May. We'll see what happens, only time will tell. So I really want to get all of you involved if you've got experience in building an accessory structure like the one that I'm looking to build. Drop some comments below if you have a shop, if you learned some things after you built your shop, or if you just have general suggestions and recommendations. I am beyond excited about what's to come for 2021. We got some big things on the horizon. So that being said, guys, lock in 15 times entries before they end on January 10th at 11:59 p.m. to get yourself entered for my 2020 Denali and $15,000 cash. Subscribe, hit the notification bell, and the thumbs up before you leave. We'll see you all in the next upload.